Number 5, prepare for the financial lies. This is hysterical. They're going to make incredibly grandiose demands. Either demand, tremendous money, or they're going to say, oh, I'm so broke. All right. So if, one of them was the primary provider, they're going to hide their finances. They're going to lie about how much they made. That's why you have to get all the documents beforehand. So when they start hiding everything, if they, were a stay-at-home mom or dad, they're going to, she never did the laundry. I always did the laundry. And one of her demands was $400 for dry cleaning every month. We never used a dry cleaner in 10 years. It's just hysterical, the things they go for. I think she wanted $15,000 a month. I didn't even make that much money a month. Nowhere near that. It's just hysterical. And they just sit there completely justified. It's fascinating to me how they will lie about their income, how they will quit their job, or they will change their jobs. And so documenting everything. The other thing that saved me was she tried to play the victim card that she was sick and incapable of working. Well, I compiled all of her medical records, which showed that she was a drug seeker. And I will never forget the judge when, she talked about, I have migraines, I can't work. And she went on and on. My lawyer brought up all the medical stuff of how it was a farce. And I'll never forget this day. Everything ends after 3 or 4 hours of all this yapping. And the judge said, he's kind of going through temporary orders and naming off all these things. And he looks at her and he goes, Mrs. Weiss, my mother had no use of her arm, or no, it wasn't his mother. He said, my father had no use of his arms or his legs. He worked a part-time job and put himself through law school. You can work. It was just bam, that was the greatest line I've ever heard from a judge. You can work. And it ended right then, and we all got up and we're walking down, exiting the courtroom. She's right in front of me. And I shouldn't laugh at her because this isn't, it's really sad that she's so delusional, or was. But she turned to her lawyer and she goes, what just happened? And that's what you're dealing with. Somebody who's so hurt and so broken, I'm laughing at her. And that's not really my intent, because that's really callous. And it's just, my heart breaks for somebody who's so hurt that they would try all of these things. And so I don't want to make light of it and laugh at her, because that's not kind. She's hurt, and I was hurt too. And she was doing the best she could. And it's really sad that her pain has caused her to be that far out of touch with reality that she thought her demands were reasonable. That's sad. And I think we need to remember that. I don't condone their actions. But if we can't have empathy for their pain, we need to do some work on ourselves. Number 6, plan for drama during custody exchanges. They will demand all these rules, but they will never follow them. And if you deviate at all, they're going to throw a conniption. It doesn't matter what the court documents say, they will break them. We had a decision maker because she just wouldn't do anything. So we literally, for anything, do you want to take the kids to the park? We'd have to call the decision maker. She would throw a fit that I wanted to take the kids to the park. So I couldn't take the kids to the park until we called the decision maker. It's just unbearable. But that may be what you need, because this is who you're dealing with. And so they will hide the kids. They will not show up. They'll change the schedule. They'll convince the kids not to see you. And so most often you're probably going to have to hire a decision maker or a civil assist for exchanges, depending on the type of narcissist and the way they like to abuse you. Again, you're not dealing with a rational person here. You can't negotiate. You can't have discussions. And so you need to put a plan in place to protect yourself. All right? Finally, number 7, parental alienation. This is You can't escape this. They are going to poison your kids and turn them against you and say incredibly awful things. They're going to give all the details of the divorce slanted in a direction that makes them the hero and you the villain. You don't want to fight that. You don't want to counter it and tell your kids the truth, because now you've just alienated them. Alienation is whenever we disparage the other parent. Now, I know you think it's right to tell them the truth, but that's why I always say with all of these topics, go become an expert. Because that's not the expert way to handle this. Kids need stability. They need to see a mom or at least one parent who knows how to handle a toxic person. And if you react with toxicity, how are your kids ever going to get through this? So it's imperative that you go become an expert in parental alienation. Now, I can't get into all of the details of this because I've done 3 videos on this topic. So instead, I highly encourage you, go watch these 3 videos. The first one is Parental Alienation, how to recognize the signs you're being alienated. Number 2, how to parent properly if you're the target of parental alienation. This is to make sure you don't alienate your kids. And number 3, the 7 mistakes targeted parents of parental alienation make. So there you go. There's your ultimate guide. Go become an expert. Protect yourself. Remember, focus on what do you want, what can you control, and what will you not tolerate. Stop playing the victim. Play the victor. Focus on what you can control. Take action on all of these steps, and it's your best chance to defeat the narcissist in a divorce.